Look at that intro. Awesome. So we are going to mix it up this week. For those of you who watch semi regularly, we're just going to have a good old Christmas get together here. So we're kind of doing a holiday party with other hosts in the difference, and of course Lennon, the creator of the difference, is on. We may have some folks pop in as we go, but this is kind of going to be just a free for all. Look back at the year that was crazy 2020, and look forward to what is 2021. So that is going to be our format today. It's going to be kind of free flow. So I want to thank you guys as the other hosts of shows on the difference for joining today. I am Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. So we are a full service property management company working basically with investors who own multiple properties as a kind of our ideal client, but we help those in need who may have fallen into a property through inheritance and whatnot and want to monetize their property. So we offer full service property management services. And that is us in a nutshell. But today is not about what our business is, and we like I said, our topic is pretty much free for all. Have a good open conversation. So with that being said, what I'd like to do is just kind of go around the horn and introduce the other hosts of people who have shows on the difference or contributors. Give you guys a little opportunity to introduce yourselves. Talk about your shows, what you might have coming up in the new year, and any sort of priorities that you have. And then we can just kind of wing it from there. So, Lennon, I want to kick it over to you because, you're the creator of the difference. And the fact that we have, 5-6 people coming on today is a testament to what the difference has become from where it started. I mean, I've been on the journey since not day one, but close to it. I was one of the original hosts of the difference before we had our own shows. So I've had the pleasure of seeing it grow from, the ground up, and it's pretty impressive. We were kicking it around before the show about, all the challenges we've faced as a society in 2020 and really what it's caused the difference to do. And that's really, I hate to say a pivot, right? Like everybody uses that term, but it forced us to pivot what you were doing and what we were doing, and
Right.
created something that really I think is exciting and has an awesome future and runway to it.
Yeah, I mean, it really has. And I want to thank all of you for being on here today. Brian, thank you for being with us since the very beginning. This is your second Christmas show. You were actually,
right.
You did the first Christmas show that we did last year.
So,
and
I think I wore my baseball jersey last time. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but yeah.
Yeah,
so
got the Griswold and the hat and everything like that.
Trying to be all festive today,
Yeah, a little bit of Christmas bubbly going along with it, which is something we kind of started at the beginning.
Throwing it back to the OG, right? We have the difference.
The difference, right?
Wow,
that's awesome. That's so cool. But you're right. So a little over a year ago, I wanted to put together something to help folks, help small businesses, because being an entrepreneur for 20 plus years, I understand the challenges of marketing and branding and all the things that we have to do to compete. And so I started a show, and I wanted to bring on sponsors like you, Brian, and a lot of other. Adam was one of the originals that came in. Adam and I started working together. We kind of have some of the same visions. We approach it differently, which is a compliment to each other and what we're trying to do. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to help local and small businesses, entrepreneurs, independent contractors, and community leaders grow and expand their businesses through targeted video branding. That's really where my specialty comes in. And that started as one show. And as you mentioned, when COVID happened and we couldn't go to the studio anymore, we all had to pivot. We all had to adapt. We all had to make some changes. And it just hit me. I'm like, why don't I help everybody else do what I've been doing and help them grow? And so I ask you guys to be a part of that. And fortunately for me, and very appreciative that you did, you guys jumped on board. We created individual shows, and now you're helping do the same thing for other small businesses and independent contractors. What we want to do, what the difference is all about, is focusing on humanizing your business as opposed to commercializing, and having a unique strategy designed to help each person in their business showcase the values and the principles that form the cornerstones of their professionalism. That is what the difference is meant to do, and that's what we're all trying to do. And it's been so cool to watch each and every one of you with your shows bring on these new people, introduce them to your audience, introduce them to me. I mean, I'm so fortunate because I'm a part of every show, whether I'm producing or whether I'm helping co-host. I'm getting to meet some fabulous people. And it just shows you how the small businesses and the local businesses are so important to the fabric and the foundation of our neighborhoods and our communities. So that's a little bit about me, what I do in the background. If you'd have told me 18 months ago this is what I was going to be doing, I would have looked at you and laughed because I had no idea. But I feel like we've all figured out a way to besides our business, to serve our communities and serve the people around us. And I just want to say cheers. I'm not drinking bubbly, but I do have a little Bailey's in my coffee. So cheers to all of you. Thank you all so much for supporting the difference and being a part of it.
Yeah, of course. Well, this has been a wild ride. If you think about, you said if you asked you a year and a half ago if you'd be hosting a radio show, you thought it was crazy if I said that you were. I think pretty much everybody who has a show, I may be wrong on this, but I can at least say the vast majority of us have never done radio or had our own podcast. So, you've wrangled up a wild band of characters here, and we've made do with little experience. So it's been a fun and wild ride. Just the radio show in general, but then throw in a disease that takes down the entire world, at least shuts it down for a bit, and we got to navigate our ways through that. We started in studio. If you think back to when we first started, we were in an actual radio studio, and so we've navigated to this, and at some point we will get back to a radio studio. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. So I think that cheers is very well earned and well deserved. So
absolutely,
cheers to you and everybody else. With that, let's just go down the line here. I've got Julie next on my screen. Julie, you've joined recently, but you've been in the real estate world for quite a bit, and run an awesome home warranty program with Super. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your business, just let's go from there.
Well, it is a blessing to be here with everybody this morning. And this is no doubt one of the craziest go down in history Christmas seasons we will always remember. In 2020, I saw a funny sign yesterday when I was visiting a title office that said RIP 2020. So it was rest in peace 2020. I just laughed because that's kind of how we all feel.
Right.
But for those of you who haven't met me and don't know who I am, I'm Julie Altimus, and I work with Super. It's a home warranty company, Silicon Valley based, and we are shaking up the industry in many ways, changing the home warranty game. It's been challenging for quite some time, and in some cases decades for those companies that have been around for a long time. And so we are making things different. And our CEO, had a bad home warranty experience himself and thought, what can I do with this industry? And not initially, but what is it about this industry that is so broken? And we started doing his research. He could see easy fixes. So he had a company prior to Super. It wasn't just a dad that decided he was going to hop in and go on some crazy business adventure, but he had a company that was a tech company before Super that was sold on the New York Stock Exchange for $200 million. So he's got it going on with the tech part. So he took Super and based it with the foundation being a technology company so that we could, offer better services, different services, higher coverages, and utilize technology as a platform to deliver those. things. So talk about a wild ride. It's been a wild ride because it's a Silicon Valley company. It's fast. They grow. We are growing fast. We have big thinkers on the team, people from everywhere from Microsoft and Apple that run our support team and the higher ups, in the corporate headquarters. So how I got here is quite the wild story. So you were just talking about people not having a background in broadcasting, and I actually do. So I was an anchor and reporter for the city of Plano for over 15 years and hosted 2 Emmy-winning programs. And I love video, television, radio, voiceover. In fact, I took voice acting classes, so I can do that as well. And you guys didn't know that about me, so I can be a little tiny baby voice too. I can't really go deep, like I can't be the Jolly Green Giant.
I actually did know that you were. I knew that you were professional, Julie. I left that part out, but
Right.
no, thanks for sharing, because you do bring at least a bit of professionalism to the crew here.
Right.
Yes, but I absolutely loved that. I went to SMU. I'm born and raised in Dallas. Went to SMU for communications and journalism, and spent many years there. So that stint was over after the internet came on the scene and changed the way that news was delivered. And so they changed their programs, and that meant I wasn't going to be hosting any of their programs anymore. So I went into the corporate world about 5 years ago. And I threw myself in accidentally with Sharks and took on an outside sales position with YP. Have any of you heard of YP? You know what it is? Lyndon, you can't answer.
When I was 10, I think they delivered huge books.
The big ones.
Absolutely. Those big old phone books. Well, I didn't know that YP was the Yellow Pages, but actually they had rebranded themselves, and I was working for the digital side. So I was selling ads for Google and Pandora websites, direct mail, all kinds of fun things. But the company wound up folding after 100 years. I don't even know if you're aware. About 3 years ago. So I got out in the nick of time. I heard about Super with a fellow colleague, and she talked me into coming over, and here we are. And it's been a wonderful experience. I've learned a lot. Not only have I made fantastic connections and great relationships with people, and that, of course, opened my eyes to the whole real estate world, which I wasn't even interested in before, didn't know about. It wasn't even on my roadmap. And here it is. It's taken me in a completely different direction in life now. So it's been amazing, not only for that reason, but secondly, to work for a Silicon Valley company. You want to grow fast. You want to think fast. You want to see technology explode in your face. That's where I'm at right now, and that's what's happening. And it's fantastic to be a part of a team like that, and to see the kind of intricate workings that go on behind the scenes. So, I just couldn't be more blessed with the position that I'm in now. So, and here I am. Now I'm on a podcast with you fine people and Lyndon, and all the great relationships that I've made this year. So it's been wonderful.
Somehow you took that other road that led you to us, right?
That's right.
The road less traveled, right?
Right.
That's a book or a song. I know it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's awesome. So real quick, because we do have listeners that are outside the DFW area, you guys are out. You're not just DFW, right? You're elsewhere.
We are. So we're in 12 cities across the U.S. So we are definitely in the DFW Metroplex, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. We're also in certain parts of Arizona, Chicago, and Washington. And so we have more that are coming. Our goal is to be in every household, 1 out of 4 households in the next 10 years or so. So we're growing very rapidly.
Well, like a true Silicon Valley company, you should be nationwide here in a matter of a year. Is what I'm guessing.
If it weren't for COVID, maybe so.
Right. Yeah. One of the challenges, right? Well, no, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Julie. Appreciate that. Thanks for joining the show today. And we'll get back to some discussion amongst the group, but let's move on. I see Adam is next in my screen. So Adam, you've got some awesome stuff going on with the Real Estate Triangle, and you've got a show going on here in the Difference. So just tell us a little bit about both of those things.
Absolutely, Brian, and thank you for having me on, including me and your audience and what you're doing. I cannot applaud you enough. For thinking outside of the box. Real property management is really, taking a step forward. Just like Julie said, there's opportunities. And I'm going to disagree with one thing that Julie said, and that's not to compliment everything else she said, but what we are seeing, this show right now is not because of COVID. It is the opportunities that have been presented to us in this fantastic time. And yes, it's scary. And yes, it is. It's been catastrophic to many, many people, but we are learning to do business a different way. And your show today is an example of that. You know, we are 5 people sitting in 5 different locations all across North DFW. And we're making this happen, and we're bringing ideas and real estate information and technology together so that the consumer wins at the end of the day. And I think that is just stinking awesome. And these opportunities, maybe Zoom is not new. StreamYard is not new. Podcasts are not new, but we're doing it in new ways. And it is absolutely amazing. Lyndon mentioned before, he and I met about 18 months ago. And when I first started the Real Estate Triangle, and I met this crazy dude from Arkansas. and it just so happens that's where I'm born and bred. And so we hit it off, and he said, "Hey, I got this idea that we want to do this real estate industry related radio show." And he started with KBGI. And we started that right off the bat. And Lyndon said, "I think I can take this to the next level. Let's just make the difference the mothership for this cloud-based radio station, podcast station." And it has just absolutely exploded in the past 12 months. He could baffle you with BS, as I say, beer and sunshine. That's what I meant. And but it's absolute. None of us would have been presented with these opportunities had it not been for this pandemic. And we've been forced to technology, and we've been forced to isolation. And the few people who have taken advantage of what the difference is doing have come together and put their resources together to meet remotely and to provide resources to the end user, which at the end of the day, the consumer wins. And I keep saying this about the Real Estate Triangle. My wife and I own a real estate team, the Triangle Group with KW Urban Dallas. But we found a deficit in the team members that we needed to accomplish a real estate transaction. Your home warranty people, your insurance people, your property management people, your electricians, your plumbers, your roofers, your painters, your satellite TV installers. There's a lot of people required for a real estate transaction. And so I started this thing, the Real Estate Triangle, 18 months ago. And the Dallas group, we have 9 groups in 5 states. But the Dallas group has just exploded greatly. Credit to the difference, but the Dallas group has exploded at 3,700 members. And these are realtors, painters, plumbers, roofers, insurance salesmen, title companies, home warranty, inspectors, all of these things that are ancillary disciplines around the real estate transaction. And what we have found, and what we wanted to do from the beginning, is develop a team of people that we like, know, and trust. And we work with people that we like, know, and trust. Our clients win. And at the end of the day, that's the goal, is our clients to win. And we're in scary times, folks. There's a home inventory shortage right now in DFW. Every single listing that we see in DFW is going into multiple offers. It's a bidding war. And we know that the CARES Act ends December 26th. Forbearances end January 17th. We know that we're going to be moving into people who have been forced to take forbearance due to income loss from COVID. And they're going to be facing foreclosure, short sales in January and February. And the market is going to be flooded. So we're going to go from a market that's in deficit, a shortage of homes, to a plethora. Well, that, Brian, as you know, that changes property values. And so we have a lot of folks that have done well during this season. and they need to invest. I can't tell you how many buyers that I have that Liz and I have that are looking for VRBOs, looking for investment properties. And so, those are, because of the connection that we have here with the difference, Brian, you and I now I'm looking to put people together with you to manage their investment properties, right? And in their investment properties, I need a home warranty, right? And so I'm going to go to Julie. And those buyers need insurance, right? So I'm going to go to Nathan. And then those people need a voice, need an audience to tell about what they do. And so they go to Lyndon. And this frankly, this triangle of partnership that we have created here, that Lyndon has spearheaded, is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm stinking overjoyed about it. We've partnered with, we've adopted Creek and Timber Legacy as a charity because we've grown so big so fast. We have got to give back because there are serious people in need in this time. And it's not a joke. It's not funny. It's not lighthearted. And so, charities, giving back, each of us pulling our weight and doing what we can for our local communities is a big deal. And Creek and Timber Legacy is one of those organizations that is helping, disabled veterans, disabled first responders, retired first responders, critically ill children. And so the Real Estate Triangle has adopted them, and we want to move forward. We're planning a big fundraiser for them in 2021, the first quarter. And so, Brian, you gave me this opportunity. I want to appeal to anyone who wants to get involved with that. Reach out to me, Adam@therealestatetriangle.com. You can text me on my Facebook. My number's everywhere. But doggone, guys, this is an exciting time. And it's just, we have been given such an opportunity. Like I said, these things aren't new, but we're taking advantage of them now. And each of us benefit off of each other because of our relationships, right? Not because of the transactions that we do, but because of our relationships as individuals, right? I want to know what your kids do at soccer. I want to know what your wife's doing when she gets her degree. All of these things, we want to build a culture of relationships, and we're building a community of people in DFW greater that is just out of this world. And Brian, Julie, Nathan, and especially Lyndon, you guys are making this happen. And I could not be more excited to be involved.
Well, no, Adam, that's awesome. And, a couple nuggets out of that. I love your glasses half full approach, right? Like, we could take a look back on 2020 and be like, it was the dumpster fire that it was, throw our hands up and be like, it was 2020. But you're right. I mean, through what you did with the Real Estate Triangle and growing it to the levels it's at, in conjunction with the difference and all of us that are all together in that, I think is fantastic. And that's, I think that's a key takeaway that, we did all deal with a bunch of shit this year, right?
Right. Damn straight.
Guess what? We figured a way through it, and we're coming out stronger on the back end and heading into 2021. So that's takeaway number one. Takeaway number two is your assessment on the market. I think you're exactly right. As a realtor, and a property manager, I can concur with, I think, your assessment. The timing, who knows when it's going to pop, but the tide will turn. So, I'll throw this out there for those who are financially prepared or in a good financial standpoint that are thinking about getting in the real estate investment game. The time is coming. Winter is coming, as they say in Game of Thrones. But your opportunity is coming in probably Q1 to Q2 of next year, when there are going to be properties available, and they're going to be available not at the premium that they're currently at. So I'll throw that out as nugget number two. And then thank you for mentioning Creek and Timber Legacy. a lot of us on the show have a tie into that in some way, shape, or form. So there will be a big fundraiser in Q1, and looking forward to getting that together and socializing that across the audience. So thank you for all that, Adam. Thank you for joining today. Appreciate you and appreciate everything that the Real Estate Triangle is doing to bring everybody together in the real estate community. So, thank you for all that. And then let's move over to Nathan with he's got a show on the difference called The Exodus. So I've watched enough of Nathan's shows to know that, one, they're entertaining. He's got a good rapport with his partner Blake. They talk about some really cool stuff. In particular, a route that I've gone, which is the exodus out of the corporate world and into entrepreneurship and owning your own company and being your own boss. So, Nathan, I'm going to kick it over to you. Introduce yourself, introduce your show, share anything you want to share. It's a wide open format today, so it's all yours, man.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm having some major audio issues, but y'all can hear me all right?
Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
Okay, great. I had to move into a different location in the office, and hopefully this works out. But, well, first of all, like everyone else said, thanks for giving me this opportunity to jump on with you guys and just do kind of a year in review. And I'm sorry you guys have to see me from like a chin up. I know that's not the most exciting view, but we work with what we have, right? It's that kind of year. And it's something that
Nathan. It's good looking.
Something that you said, Adam, that really caught my attention is, when we look back at 2020, I think obviously we'd all agree that it was a difficult year in some capacity or another. But no matter who you're talking to, 2019 could have been a really difficult year for certain people, right? There's always a perspective. Now, with this global pandemic, everybody sees the negative, whether it be the actual virus itself or the economic impact, or you talk about what could happen with the real estate market next year. But you'll hear people say, well, you get strength through adversity, and that's actually not true. Your response to adversity is what actually gives you strength and you grow from. You can respond very poorly to adversity and further tailspin into a more disastrous, adverse space. And so I think, with what you guys are doing, Julie, she had the Pray Dallas group this year, which was a phenomenally positive response to COVID. And then the adaptations we've all made to our business, moving things online, learning new mediums, that has been a way of thinking, okay, we can either, sit around and pout and be frustrated, or we can do something different. And that really ties into, I think, what our show is primarily about, is that there's always people that are frustrated with their current situation. And we spend a lot of time talking about the corporate world. And, the corporate world, as you all know, it's its own beast. It's got, not the corporation's got stockholders to answer to. It's got a board. It's got, at the end of the day, you might have a great relationship with your immediate coworkers, or even your manager, boss, whatever. But from a corporation standpoint, you're still a number. That's just the nature of the beast. And, people have seen the perceived security that they thought they had in their jobs really crumble before their very eyes. And we see the fallout from that in 2020. And so what really gives us passion in our show, The Exodus, is really taking this concept of entrepreneurship and showing people that it's, one, possible, and that in the long run, when you control as best you can your time and your money, even though there's risk, there's difficulties, you guys, all business owners in some capacity or another, there's always challenges, especially, how many small businesses may never resurrect themselves from this pandemic. But the ability to step into that space and take a leap of faith, essentially, I think is something that's always more rewarding. Even if I know I have a lot of friends that have started multiple businesses. Some have been very successful, some have failed, but they've taken that chance, they've taken that risk, and you learn through those obstacles, right? Again, like I mentioned earlier, it's your response to adversity that determines if it is a positive learning experience or if it's going to further, send you down the wrong path in the wrong direction. And so we've been really blessed. We're in the finance world. We help people with personal finance and really target middle class folks because I think that's a very underserved demographic. I myself kind of started out as a client and just I was in a corporation myself, a software company, and for healthcare, for home health and hospice, and good company, good people, but always had that longing where I wanted to take some things into my own hands, right? And it just happened to coincide with an opportunity to get into the financial world, and I took it. My wife was able to stay home. It's got its obstacles. It's not easy, but the growth potential, the opportunity to open up, multiple locations across the country, to be able to impact people across the nation, whether they come on and work with us part-time or full-time, giving them that same ability to make that exodus, from their job, from the corporate world, if they desire, or if they just need extra income or want to learn a skill set from a financial standpoint, or just need help as a client. It's been quite a blessing in that context. And, we had to do the same thing, Brian. We had to adapt. We had a brief freak out moment, like a lot of businesses, like, okay, I value face-to-face. We did a lot of meetings face-to-face with people, clients, or interviewing potential agents. And now we're like, well, crap. Okay. So we either can panic and go into the fetal position, or we can adapt. And we adapted, and everything we do is online now. And it's fantastic. It allows us to reach more people. And it's been really quite a blessing, because we took that moment and we said, it's almost to practice what you preach, right? We talk about that, and whatever got us into the businesses that we're in, whether it be Lyndon starting the difference, Brian, and I guess Brian, you were there early on. Your passion for property management, real estate investment, all these things had a genesis where this is what I want to do. And then, you get tested on that, right? Because we all have obstacles. So now every time an obstacle comes up, you have to kind of whether I like to do affirmations, right? I have a list of affirmations that I like to basically record myself saying and read them over and over again. And it helps me remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. And as business owners, I think that's one of the challenges that you don't have in the corporate world, because you just show up, you get your paycheck. I mean, obviously, if you don't work, you will get fired, but it takes a lot longer in the corporate world. Like, as you're a business owner, whether you're just self-employed or you're looking to create a system that runs itself, there are those days where you're wearing all the hats, right? And you've got to take every obstacle that comes your way as an area of growth or an area that's going to move you in the wrong direction. Very rarely in the business world can you stay in one place. You're either getting better, you're getting bigger, you're getting stronger, you're getting more knowledgeable, you're getting more confident, or you're going the other direction, right? And so we like to highlight, one, here's how you make this decision. Whether you come work with us or not, I want people to see that they are not a slave to their 9 to 5 if they don't want to be. Some people are very happy. Some people will just work for 40 years. They're very content with that. And I mean, being content is very important. So I tell people, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But there's a lot of people that go 9 to 5 and are miserable at what they do. And they do it because, one, they want to take care of their families. They want to, that's the responsible thing to do. But what if you could have more than that? What if you could, take some things in your own hands? And that's really what we try to highlight and encourage people, to make that jump. And then once you're there, what are some things, whether it be mindset, daily activities, routine, that you have to adopt and or give up in order to be successful there? And in 2021, we're going to be having a lot more guests on the show that have made that jump, that have their own businesses. And we just want to hear their perspective. Obviously, I'd love you guys to jump on anytime possible. Brian, you and I talked about I'm totally blanking on a guest that you had the other day that I'd like to connect with. And I think we're going to work on that behind the scenes. But that's a little bit about me, a little bit about my journey, our history, what our aim is for the show. And man, it just, I think it really fits nicely with, the difference overall. And then just a nice compliment to what you guys are doing in the real estate world. And then just, Julie, and we're really starting to get a very diverse mix of different types of shows here, which I think just brings overall value to all of us in a kind of a synergistic sort of a way.
No, Nathan, I think you kind of hit it on the head on multiple aspects there. I've kind of lived your life in the show of what the Exodus is, right? You talk about the corporate world. I've listened to your show enough to know that Blake, your co-host, he was employed by Nike. I had a similar experience with PepsiCo, and I worked on the Gatorade brand in particular, which had a lot of really cool stuff with it. And you get a lot of cool stuff. And you get paid well, whatever.
Most of my sportswear that I currently have came from his time at Nike. So there were some perks.
Yeah, well, and I've got some really cool memorabilia from my time at Gatorade, but you touch on the point where, your why and most people's why are providing for their family, and when you're in a well-paying corporate job, yes, you get well paid, but your time is always metered. And there's always a time where it doesn't matter how well you do. You kind of hit it on the head. You're a number, and at some point, I'm a finance guy by trade. I know I saw the financials that make sense to get rid of people because they make too much money, and you can replace them with people who don't make as much money. So. I completely get it. And us as entrepreneurs who have been in the corporate world, we tend to bash on it. I'll also give a positive in that I had a wonderful experience there for the most part. Did I dread going to work on Mondays some days? Yeah, but is that any different now? No. Some weeks, no. So that part hasn't changed.
In some ways, you have more responsibility because you're doing everything.
Oh, there's absolutely way more responsibility.
One thing that I always say on the show about the corporate world, like, you just got to know what it is. Like, in finance, personally, and with clients or whatever, you invest in corporations, so you want them to succeed, but you got to understand their success is dependent on bottom line, and that bottom line sometimes cuts out people. And so, if that person's you, what really sucks, but if you're investing in them, well, you don't see that side. And so it's just, that's the nature of the beast. But, my goal, and I think what you figured out is what it sounds like, is that there's always going to be employees. That's the system that we have created now. We can't turn back the clock to the 19th century where you had apprentices, and then you had, you just basically learned the trade of your family, or you opened up your own business, and you were employed for a short time before you ended up doing that. We can't really turn that back. But what I tell people is there'll always be employees, but you personally don't have to be one. And if you want to do something different, there are countless avenues without having to, have $1 million of capital to start something. There's all kinds of different ways to do something for much, much, much less than that. And just, being able to think about that and explore that opportunity is the hope that we try to bring to people.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I think that the key learning that I had coming out of corporate America is that I learned how to be a good business person. Whether it doesn't necessarily, it didn't have to be an entrepreneurial situation. It's how do you conduct yourself? How do you present yourself? How do you sell yourself? How do you sell whatever business you have? That's what I learned in corporate America. And, as you talk to people and the theme of your show is take those learnings and grow them into something much larger and 100% under your control, right? There's a lot to be said about the learnings from corporate America. And I think I heard it on one of your it might've been your December show. You can take all of the tutorial that you got through corporate America and leverage it into something that's much, much bigger, right? So I'm a huge proponent of that. I love that aspect of your guys' show. So yeah, I would love to come on your guys' show. We had Debbie Florence on our show a few weeks ago. We're going to connect you guys to have her on your show. She's done the same thing. She's had an awesome corporate background. She started her own thing for her own personal reasons and is flourishing and doing great. It's a nice synergy with your business. And I will also point out too, the other nugget that I took out of what you said. As you're in your financial practice, you're somebody who's been there and done that, and your partner has as well. So if you want somebody to talk to who has been in the corporate world that can then leverage that into starting their own business and kind of everybody's different and everybody has their own passions and things like that. So that may not be your ball game, but the model of going from corporate America into owning your own business and the pitfalls you have to watch out for, and can help people walk through that fire, if you will. So I think that's a key takeaway as well. And, you said making that jump. I took that away from what you were talking about. Make that jump. So it takes a lot of guts to make that jump. It takes a lot of preparation to make that jump. So that's another aspect I think your guys' business can help in. If anybody, I know this is connecting with folks that are listening that are in the corporate world that may be thinking or have been thinking about it for a while, because I know I was. You're in a position to help them, think about what it takes to make that jump.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always questions that you want to ask, if you're going to do any type of entrepreneurial endeavor of any kind, just when you're assessing things, and we don't have time to get into, there's a handful of them, but yeah, being able to do that. And sorry, they just started doing an event in the background here. I didn't know that was happening. So
you got another party going on over
there. Yeah, I'm sitting in the middle of a Christmas party. I better get some snacks out of this. So that's what. But
share with us, would you?
I will, absolutely. But so I appreciate you saying that, and it's a journey that we're still learning, we're still adapting, and as we continue to grow, I think we'll find more obstacles, we'll overcome more obstacles, and we'll have that much more experience to be able to share with people on our journey as well. So, man, I appreciate you having me on. It's been fantastic, and I like these laid back shows where we just kind of take a bird's eye view and dive in on a couple things and just get ready to hit the new year really hard. I think it's going to be a good year.
I agree with you. And, I'm glad you said that, because it's, I know some of the folks had to jump off today. I think you've got an engagement that you got to run to too. But I think it's a time, it's the end of the year. We have to reflect on what was the most unique years of all, right? 2020. And we've hit on a lot of these topics earlier in that it's caused us to rethink about how we do things, refocus on how we're going about things, how we're acquiring clients, the venue and the mode in which we can communicate, which are all fundamental to our business. I mean, I know you guys are both big networking proponents, right? And that's really what the genesis of the difference was, is to get together and share our networks and connect folks. And that's become, what used to happen face to face more often than not has swayed the other way, where we're doing this in, a Zoom environment, or, doing email connections and things like that. So, just thinking back through the year, we touched on it earlier, Landon, where the differences come from and evolved to. And I will say evolved, because I think it really has, and it's evolved and grown. And I look forward to 2021 as something that, we continue that growth. And how it goes when you build connections, it grows exponentially. It doesn't just grow linearly; it grows exponentially.
That's right.
So to the extent that we can continue everything that we've done, and developing our own shows, we've got just opportunity and runway galore, and I look forward to what 2021 has to bring. Yeah,
I do too. And you're right, it has evolved. And I was taking notes as everybody was talking, and it's just in 2008, when the market crashed, I was really observing what was going on there, and the people that really made it through were the ones that united together, and they started working together. I think one thing that we fail to realize, and this is why I'm such a proponent of small and local businesses. I'm not anti-corporation. They serve a great purpose. But our communities have been built with the hard work of the self-employed small business owner. They've been there for our community when corporations weren't. Corporations came in later when they realized that there's money to be made in this community. Well, mom and pop and aunts and uncles and everybody else has already been serving that community. And part of, I think that it's important that we support the small and local business owner. And I think that when we realize that not only are they the small business owner, they're small business owners, but they're also consumers. And so what I want to do is I want to build a huge community of these independent contractors. Okay. Whether, you can be part of a corporation, but still be responsible for your own productivity, right?
Yep.
So whether you want to understand it or not, you're still basically a small business owner. You're a contractor for a particular corporation. You have some advantages. There may be some disadvantages, but you still have to maintain that reputation within your community, or you're going to struggle. And
I think that's a great way to look at it. As you're a contractor, so your services may or may not be needed, and you're going to be paid accordingly.
That's right.
Because when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, if you're an employee, you're due a paycheck every other week, and you're going to get paid on Friday every other week, and you got to check all the boxes. You did what you did. But when you look at it from that lens, or through that lens, and look at it as, hey, I'm a contractor, and if I don't do what I said I was going to deliver, then I'm not going to get paid.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, you may not get paid because you're let go.
That's true. Now, think about it this way as well. Let's say that you've got 50 people that work for Ford, right? Ford, the auto dealer. And I am looking to buy a Ford truck. What kind of truck can those 50 people offer me that the other 50 can't?
Personal service. That's about it.
We've got to remember that. That's what the local and small businesses do that the larger corporations don't. Every one of those guys or women, those 50 salespeople, are going to sell me the same product. Now it's backed by a good brand. So which person do I choose? Which person do I finally go, I want you to be the one that sells it to me?
Yeah, the one who gives you the best rapport and you have a relationship with.
Right. Or that they have had a good relationship with previous people that have endorsed them. And so now I'm coming into this looking specifically for them because of the things that I've heard. And that's what I want the difference to be for these small businesses, whether you are a contractor, whether you're an independent salesperson for a large corporation. We all have the opportunity, and we should be building good relationships and showing people what we're made of, why we have a passion for what we do, and that it's more about not what we're selling, but who we are and why we're selling it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, because most businesses that have been around for a while, i.e. Ford or any other big brand, they've been around because they have a good product. Then it becomes, all right, any of the folks that are in our group and the difference, we have a good service. So then it comes down to, is it somebody you want to work with? Know, like, and trust, right?
Right.
And those are the principles. And I think, the more you can socialize the fact that you have people that believe in you and your services and how you treat your customers, that is, kind of punny here, but it is the difference, right?
Right.
So,
well, when you think about it, when you talk about the difference, what is the difference? As we're talking about Ford and 50 people, the difference is you. Our unique value is who we are. And I think that we sometimes, whether you're an independent contractor, whether you're a self-employed business owner, and that's kind of why I put in the humanize versus commercialize. I think we look around and we live in a copycat world, right? We learn to market based on what other companies are doing. And I think sometimes for the individual, we forget to humanize our brand and we just kind of copy what Coca-Cola and Ford and Gatorade and all these big corporations do. They focus on the product. Well, the uniqueness and why the customer is going to connect with me comes down to my characteristics and who I am. And so that's what we want to do at the difference is really showcase those particular, excuse me, those particular characteristics that make us unique and do make the difference.
No, I agree with that. And, if anybody is out there who wants to be part of the difference or, be part of our show, Real Talk with Brian Poduska, and has an awesome business plan and has a relationship with us, would love to have you on the show and potentially be a sponsor as well. Just, it's giving back to those who we do business with. So, and that's what we're all about.
Right.
So, yeah, it looks like we've lost our other hosts because they've had other engagements that they had to be part of. But Lennon, I want to, this was kind of your idea of just having a Christmas party, and I was on board with it from the moment it came out of your mouth. I think it was a great idea. Thanks to all the other co-hosts that have been on the show. Throw it out to you guys and say Merry Christmas to you. Lennon, thanks for the idea. This has been fun. This has been a year to remember for so many reasons. And like Adam kind of alluded to, I remember it for the positives. There's been so many negatives that we could harp on. But I think, anybody who's been through a struggle and comes out as strong or stronger on the back end has to look back and say that was a victory.
Right.
So I think 2020 for the difference and for our business and for most of the folks that I know has been a victory. And, I applaud everybody for fighting through
it. Exactly. I was going to say the same thing, fighting through it, persevering.
Yeah. So, that's about all I can say is that, thank the good Lord that 2020 is behind us. But I really do look at 2021 as an optimistic year and something to look forward to because we will get through this bullshit. For lack of, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's been bullshit, and it's gonna continue to be bullshit for a bit. But I think the sooner we can get through it, the better, and we will come out stronger as a society and as humans on the back end. I just, Lennon, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity of being part of the difference. It's been a wild ride, been a fun year. And that's, I guess we'll say, let's raise our original, the difference glasses to a crazy 2020 and a better 2021.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that we are much better prepared and equipped for 2021. Even though we're really not sure what it's going to be, I think that we've gained confidence through 2020 because we realize that there's an answer out there. I just have to find it. There's an answer. And now doing what we've done and kind of understanding the value of being able to reach the masses, right? And I've said this before, most businesses don't struggle or fail because of a bad product or service. They struggle or fail because not enough people knew what they were doing.
Yep.
And I think that every small business owner, every independent contractor, anybody out there that is in a service-oriented, even with products selling business, they would all agree that if more people knew I was doing what I'm doing, I would make more sales. I would have more productivity. And so I think that we've all realized that this year through the difference, the fact that we hit over 500,000 viewers in 13 months showed us what the potential is. I mean, Brian, that's 500,000 people, and we didn't even know what we were doing.
No, that's amazing. And I'm glad you shared that fact because, we went from 0 to 500,000 people who have seen this show.
Right.
And that's amazing. From what, right? We started in a studio and muddled our way through this environment and medium. And I think it's going great. I enjoy my time on here. I think our guests do as well.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome to be able to touch 500,000 people within a matter of a year. Like, who would have guessed that?
Absolutely. And just what you said too, to touch on that, to bring on guests, invite people that we are connected with or want to connect with, and share that audience with them to help them grow their business. I mean, we all want to be able to add value to our relationships and not be the transactional person that's only focused on our own business. And we figured out a way that we can promote our business in what we do, but simultaneously promote others in what they do. And as I said before, every small business owner is also a consumer. So this is just a way for us all to network and to pool our resources, so that we can compete with some of the larger corporations in this world, because you can get choked out if you're not careful.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what we're all about. And the difference is connecting folks and connecting services and products and things that people need. So
yep,
we are that. And with that, I think we're bumping up against time.
Yep, that's about it.
Want to say, again, thank you, Lennon, for running the difference, creating the difference. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year to all of our listeners out there. It's been a crazy year. It's going to be a better 2021. I guarantee it. It has to be. But with that, the warmest wishes for the new year and a Merry Christmas to all.
All right. See you guys soon.
All right. God bless.